When you picture Laos, what comes to mind? For me, it's lush green fields and these incredible markets just overflowing with fresh food. And you know what? That's right. The country has made amazing progress in food security. But underneath that story of abundance, there's a really complex, kind of hidden health crisis bubbling up. So today, let's dive into this food paradox. Laos is rightfully celebrated for its agricultural wins. It's managed to become self-sufficient in rice, and it's known all over the world for top quality stuff like the famous Khao Kai Noi rice and that amazing Bolovan coffee. So on the surface, everything looks great, a real picture of health and prosperity. So, what's the problem? Well, the problem is something that researchers call a triple nutrition challenge. Now, this is a really interesting concept that explains how a country can have plenty of food, but also have a major malnutrition crisis at the very same time. It's a modern challenge that a lot of developing nations are facing, and Laos is a textbook example. And this brings us to the central puzzle that researchers are trying to solve. How can it be that in one nation, you have high rates of stunting in children, which is a classic sign of undernutrition, while at the exact same time, you're seeing this explosion in overweight and obesity? It just doesn't seem to add up, right? But that contradiction is the very heart of this paradox. This whole situation is known as the triple burden. Let's break that down because it's super important. First, you've got undernutrition. And this isn't just about feeling hungry, it leads to things like stunting, where kids don't grow to their full potential physically or mentally because of long-term gaps in their nutrition. Second, you have the total opposite, overnutrition. That's the rise in overweight and obesity, usually from diets that are packed with calories but poor in actual nutrients. And then third, kind of hiding in the middle, are micronutrient deficiencies. This is like a hidden hunger, a lack of essential vitamins and minerals, even in people who are getting plenty of calories. And the craziest part? All three of these can be happening in the same community, sometimes even under the same roof. To really get our heads around this, let's zoom in on one of the most serious results of this shift in nutrition, the dramatic rise of type 2 diabetes. A fantastic PhD study gives us a window into how traditional diets are colliding with this very modern disease right there in Laos. And listen, this is not a small problem. The rate of diabetes in Laos shot up by an incredible 30% in just one decade. Think about that. A single decade. That single number tells you that something big is changing in the country's health, and it's changing fast. So what exactly is type 2 diabetes? Well, to put it simply, it's a condition where your body isn't using insulin the right way. Insulin's job is to move sugar from your blood into your cells for energy. But with type 2, that sugar, or glucose, gets stuck in the blood. Over time, that buildup can lead to some really serious health problems. You know, you can't really talk about diet in Laos without talking about rice. As the research makes clear, sticky rice isn't just a food, it's a cultural centerpiece. It's the go-to staple for almost everyone. But how does this beloved cultural staple fit into the picture with diabetes? This is where that local diabetes study gets really fascinating. It found some incredibly clear patterns. On one hand, people who had better control over their blood sugar were doing things like eating vegetables rich in vitamin A every day, getting their carbs from things like sweet potatoes, and limiting animal foods. On the other hand, worse control was linked to eating sticky rice every day, having salty animal products daily, and snacking on nuts frequently. It shows this super direct link between specific local eating habits and real-world health outcomes. Okay, so the research is pretty clear, right? But here's the really good news. The solutions don't have to be super complicated. The evidence actually points towards some simple but really powerful steps that anyone can take to eat healthier, whether you're managing diabetes or you just want to feel good. One of the best tools out there is this idea of the healthy plate. It's so simple, it's brilliant. You can just forget about counting every single calorie. Instead, just look at your plate. The goal is to fill half of it with vegetables, a quarter with lean protein, and the last quarter with whole grains or starches. That's it. It's an easy-to-remember guide for every single meal. And what about portions? Do you need a special food scale? Nope. You've actually got a perfect guide with you all the time, your own hand. A closed fist is about the right size for your portion of grains. The palm of your hand is a good measure for protein. Cup your two hands together. That's how many vegetables you should aim for. And the tip of your thumb? That's about right for fats like oils. It's that easy. Want to know one of the easiest changes you can make that has a huge impact? Look at what you're drinking. Just choosing water or unsweetened tea instead of things like fruit juice and soda can slash your sugar intake and really help keep your blood sugar in check. It's a simple swap with a big payoff. And hey, this brings us right back to what that study found about grains, doesn't it? Swapping out sticky rice or white rice for options like brown rice or other whole grains can make a massive difference. They've got more fiber, so they have a much slower, more gentle effect on your blood sugar. Now, this is so important. This isn't about having to eat some expensive, imported health food. Not at all. It's about celebrating and focusing on the amazing, nutrient-rich foods that are already everywhere in local Lao markets. All those fresh vegetables, fruits, and lean proteins. It's really about a return to a more balanced, traditional way of eating. Okay, so all these individual choices are huge. They're powerful. But to really tackle this triple burden across the whole country, we've got to think bigger. We have to scale up from our own plates to national policy. A healthy future for Laos can't be built by the health sector alone. Why? Well, because nutrition isn't just a health issue, is it? It's an agricultural issue. What crops are we growing? It's an education issue. What are we teaching our kids about food? And it's an economic issue. Real lasting change only happens when all these areas work together. It's a team effort. So what does that big, coordinated strategy actually look like on the ground? Well, it starts with empowering people through education, making this kind of nutrition knowledge simple and available to everyone. Then you have to meet that demand by making sure healthy, affordable foods are easy to find. And what holds it all together? A real commitment to supporting local research. That way, every single policy is based on what actually works for the people of Laos, not just some generic advice. It's a smart, powerful cycle. I want to leave you with this one simple but really powerful idea from the research. A healthy waist is less than half your height. It's such a memorable little rule of thumb that connects our everyday choices to our long-term health. It kind of puts the power right back in our hands, doesn't it? So the question isn't just for a nation, but for every single one of us. What healthy choice will you make today?
If you care about what you eat and making healthy food choices, this channel is for you. Subscribe, like, and share so we can grow impact together.